And now, live from the Tanzu TV studios, it's Tanzu Tuesdays with your hosts, Robert, Burr, and Lee.
Ooh, I'm wearing my, I saw my jet fighters, my X-Wings in the thing, so I decided to do a little Han Solo celebration for dropping the, when Luke dropped the, I don't know what it's called. Hi, everybody. Thanks for listening to my brain die. You just saw it happen right there. I'm more, yeah, exactly. I'm more 3-year-old brain mind than
It's like your X-Wing just kind of flipped over and...
I did more of a Porkins thing than I did actual Han Solo celebrating. Hi. Well, thank you all for joining us. Welcome to Tanzu Tuesday. Very excited to have our special guests. This is their first time on the show, so we need to really show them a lot of love out there. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guests, Paul and Tiffany. Yeah, this week we decided to do some just open source conversation, talk about Harbor and Contour and Octant, and Paul and Tiffany are versed in that enough to share that with you all. They're excited to share that with you all. So it's it's just nice to keep it a little homeschool right now. Keep it inwards. How are you, Paul, Tiffany?
I'll pretend you said cool stuff because my internet was crap and everything froze.
Yeah, you say cool. I say cool stuff.
You
I definitely said.
Yeah, you have a lot of red bars on your name. This could be fun.
I even turned it off and on again.
Well, look, you've done all you can.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's out of your hands, really.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
Pay more money to your internet provider. That would probably be. I always find that they just need more money. Is all.
It's supposed to be gigabit.
Yeah.
Well, this is not gigabit.
Yeah.
No, really. X-Wing.
Was it like gigabit dial-up, maybe?
Oh. Well, how's everybody doing? First of all, just in your life, are you okay? Are you not burning up to a crisp, Paul, since you live on the sun? I believe is the surface of the sun.
It is the surface of the sun. Just yesterday, I haven't looked at the temperature. I mean, it's 73 degrees inside my house, and that's what really matters.
Right.
That's
yes.
Mine's 74.
Yesterday at this time, it was 100 degrees outside. And I know that because we had a little team building exercise, didn't we?
Team building exercise tonight, baby. But in the morning, it was like 9 a.m.
Yeah. And we had Yakitori Guy from YouTube came in and gave us a class on making yakitori. And so we all chopped up some chickens. And then we cooked.
We learned how to break them down. We learned how to break down and take off all the meats from the chickens.
That is true.
So it's great.
And we made some delicious yakitori. We made our own sauce, the tare, and it was delicious.
Yeah,
I had yakitori for dinner, and then I had yakitori for breakfast today. So it's certainly the gift that keeps on giving.
So did
you cut up the entire chicken?
Yeah, I finished the other half last night.
Yeah, I actually.
I'm a GDP.
I was gonna say I also was a GDP. I cooked them. I cut them both at the same time because I knew Erin was gonna want some. So yes, Erin, my wife, was able to enjoy the yakitori lunch as well. But and also the nice thing about the yakitori guy was he not only taught us, those logistical things of cutting and breaking down the chicken and how to skewer it properly and stuff, but there's a lot of philosophy behind it and a lot of really great, like, this is why yakitori is so great, and the izakaya, which is kind of like a sake house is what it translates to, but just your pub food type of a thing. And so kind of elevating pub food, which I mean, we're deconstructing food, we're elevating food. I just like to eat food as long as it's delish. So as long as you're making it delicious, just put it in my mouth. That's
right.
What I just said.
So yesterday during the class, it took less than 10 minutes when I stepped outside for my iPad to
back to your heat.
We were using Zoom,
right?
And so my iPad turned itself off, and so I switched to my phone. It also took less than 10 minutes to switch itself off because of overheating. And at that point, I decided to just rush inside and outside and do all the video bits inside.
Yeah. Good. You didn't have
turned out
you didn't have your cat like just wear it as a hat, sitting at the door looking at you.
Nice
I
rhyming.
should have done that.
Cat in a hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, back to the 3-year-old mind. I literally have read all of the Theo Lessig and Dr. Seuss books within the last several days. Do you know who Theo Lessig is?
No.
That is when Dr. Seuss would write a kid's book, but not under the Dr. Seuss name. It was under the Theo Lessig, because his last name, I think his name is Theodore Geisel. So Lessig was Geisel backwards.
Right. And he's also Felonious Monk, right?
I can neither confirm or deny that. I think you're being funny.
All right. Am I?
I don't know. You're kind of, the way you said it kind of made me think you were being funny, but then at the same time, just your face. I never make it. I can't read your face.
Is it a band or something? Why do I know that name?
A pop artist?
Like I didn't make it up. It's got to be a real name. Anyway.
Felonious Monk. There it is.
What is it? Is it a real thing?
Was an American jazz pianist and composer.
Ah, well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. So a single person, not a band. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. We've got so much stuff coming up tomorrow. That's right. I said tomorrow. Spring One Tour is happening. Reactive Spring and Spring Tips with Josh Long. So tomorrow will be 2 hours of Reactive Spring. Not enough time, and yet a lot of time to just learn and gather as much knowledge about Reactive Spring as you can. And then on Thursday for an hour, there will be the Spring Tips, where he'll get questions from you about Spring. He'll have his own kind of just tips to share. So 9 a.m. Pacific tomorrow, and also on Thursday. Sign up at springonetour.io. I'll be there. Paul
see on
will
the
be
screen
there.
right now.
Yep. And so let me see. Let me see what you're doing. Oh yeah, look at you showing it share screen.
GDP.
And then also, of course, please never forget that spring1.io, the big spring conference, is happening September 2nd and 3rd. Again, all of the tracks are up. And so please go to spring1.io, check out all the different talks, sign up, watch them, have a great time, register September 2nd and 3rd. VMworld has their big online.
Hang on, slow down.
Sorry.
Look at this. We have
itchy nose.
Beginner-friendly Spring with Josh Long.
Hey.
We have Agile Leadership with Michael Migliaccio. I'm sorry, Michael. I just butchered your name.
Yeah, sorry, Michael.
Kristen Pearson, Agile Leadership.
Yeah.
Sassy Perry is doing Intermediate Advanced Spring. So a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, Cote's in there.
Yeah. Angie Jones wants to tell us to not hate on Java 8.
Yeah, nice. No hate. Java 8.
Cool.
Yeah. So definitely go check out to all of this. All of your heart's content for spring will be filled. Your spring will be sprung forth. VMworld 2020. Thank you. I'll follow your lead now. And that is happening end of September, I believe. September 29th through and October 30th. So that again, that has like well over 600 tracks already that I've been seeing.
Right.
So tons of information both on the infrastructure, and now since VMware has been adding themselves into the platform and developer worlds. So check us out and see what Paul is going to be speaking about. Cloud native operations on the Kubernetes. So sign up to get more Paul.
So much Paul.
Yeah, all the Paul that you can have.
There'll eventually be a Tiffany somewhere on the Spring One. Eventually.
Yay.
You know what you'll be talking about yet, or is it a surprise?
I don't know yet. Trying to decide based on ruling out everything that I come up with and realizing someone else is already talking about it.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Hey, speaking of which, I heard a rumor that the hosts of our very own Tanzu Tuesday will be hosting one of the tracks for Spring One.
Huh? Who would do that?
Who would that be? Huh?
So I don't know if you've all heard that rumor yet, but that's a little something that might be happening. It's not confirmed.
Can neither be confirmed nor denied.
It might be happening.
It might.
So if you're into it, all of our friends at Tanzu Tuesdays, If you can't get enough of us, we'll be popping in and out of one of the tracks, introducing people and bringing our incredible banter and razor sharp wits. Yeah.
And 3-year-old
You know that
mentalities.
actually between Bob and I, we actually have a whole wit between us.
Yes.
So does that mean there might be one or half of one, depending on which people are running the track?
It's just who knows? I'm disappearing. And by the way, it is not a clean 50-50 split on the wit.
Depend on the day.
I want to say it. Yeah, it depends on the day, but I'd say it's leaning generally more towards 80-20 on who's got more wit than the other.
Yeah. It's probably 70-20 to be precise.
70-20, perfect. I like that math. Wait.
Yeah.
And are we going to go to our VMware.tanzu?
Let's go to
tanzu.vmware.com.
Well,
Excuse me, I had it backwards. Yeah, Tanzu.
I'm just going to tanzu.tv.
Oh, right. Check that out, everybody. Tanzu.tv will direct you right here. You can watch obviously all of our shows, our past shows. We have 13 episodes now. Isn't that incredible? So go check out if you missed Brian Lyles or Angela Chin or Olga or Spencer Gibb has been on. Josh Long, who's on tomorrow, he was on. Mark Heckler, Nate Shuda, Paul and Tiffany have both presented.
Hey, there's our faces.
Yeah, there we go. That is definitely. Oh, Dr. David Sire, who can forget about him? So
the good doctor.
Cora Iberclyde. So yeah, we've got lots of great stuff for you to catch up on if you haven't. I mean, if you're Sweet Killer 9, you've seen it all. You've been there, you've done that, and you're up to date. You're a GDP is what you are.
That's exactly right.
And Deshaun Carter, Java Grunt, you've been a regular as well. There might be a rumor that he might be on the show soon too.
Wow, that'll be exciting.
Hey,
I just noticed Brian McLean was commenting on our yakitori saying that he made mojo pork. Is it mojo or mojo? I assume it's mojo.
It's mojo. Yeah, mojo pork.
I assume mojo.
Yeah.
On Sunday, and he's still eating it.
That's the good stuff.
That's great.
Yeah. That's the good stuff right there.
Well, why is it mojo, but it's dojo?
Different. Mojo is Spanish. Dojo is Japanese.
Yeah, like jalapeno. It's not jalapeno.
It's spelled the same. So it is jalapeno.
You're now getting.
And when you smoke them, they are chipotles.
Yeah.
Chipotles,
and then you wrap them inside of a tortilla.
A tortilla, yeah. You are nailing it. You are bilateral.
Or you put two tortillas together and you make a
quesadilla. Yeah.
Quesadilla. You got it. Spanish lessons. This is a bilingual video cast.
Yes, if you put it on the SAP translation.
Yep.
So is it an
by the way,
armadillo?
means once every 2 languages, right? Isn't that what bilingual means?
Mm-hmm. Yep, every 2 languages. You're getting into my pet peeve of Sean Bean, the actor Sean Bean. His name is Seanbean, but it's pronounced Sean Bean instead of Sean Bean or Sean Bond. You really need to figure that out, guy. I love him. I think his work is fantastic, but Sean Bean, come on. So that was Tanzu.vmware.com, and I think that's it for our updates. We are all up to date. So. We're happy to have our guests today. They're internationally known on the microphone, and so we're just ready. We're ready. Anything else you want to discuss before we kick it off into our OSS?
No, I think we can just roll straight into it.
I'm excited. Without further ado,
I should have kept my screen shared so we can remember what it was we were going to look at.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's our show. What's it say we're doing in this episode?
VMware. Now you're gonna ask me to read. Oh boy, maybe some Kuber 14s.
Yeah. So I reckon we should start with Octant, and then we will switch to Contour and get Contour set up, and then we will finish off with Harbor. And then if we have time, maybe we'll flick to Turn or Velero. Velero.
Cool.
Right. That sounds like a plan.
Everybody, without further ado, I present Tiffany Jernigan, Paul Czarkowski, VMware OSS.
All right. So I guess
Right,
I'm
so-
sharing first. So you
Yeah,
need to
why don't you-
unshare.
Yeah, good idea. You kick off with Octant.
Cool. Can you see my screen?
I can see an internet web browser.
Cool. All right. So depending on how you like looking at these open source projects, you can go to the Fancy Pants web pages. So for Octant, it's just octant.dev. Or there's also, since all these things that we're talking about today are open source, they live on GitHub. So you can also start by looking at GitHub, and it kind of gives you some like general information and links to installation, etc. And obviously, if you find anything that you want to like make issues for, create PRs, etc., just anyone can do that, and it's under VMware Tanzu. So I'm just going to start by looking at the website for how to go through this. So if you just go over to documentation, you can see it actually this overview here is basically what's happening in the README. So I am, unlike Paul, I'm using Mac. So I already ran this earlier. So it's just brew install Octant, depending on whatever operating system you're using. So running Octant is super simple. So basically, first you need to make sure that your cluster is up and running. So Paul and I are using the same cluster, and hopefully everything works right. So if I just do a kubectl, I never remember exactly. Yeah, it's just cluster info. I never remember if it has git or not, but cluster info, if my internet works. Okay, cool. So everything is happy. So basically all we need to do is just run Octant since I already installed it. So this pops up a new web page, and my internet is really slow right now, so I'm sorry if everything takes forever to show. So basically there's a bunch of different things here. So if you look at the top there, you can choose certain labels to filter if you ended up creating those. You can apply YAML, just kind of like if you did things like kubectl apply or etc. If you look here, this shows the different namespaces that are within this cluster. And then over here on the right, you can choose to switch between the different contexts. So I have a bunch of different ones in my kube config, and it will start on the one that is your current context. So we can, since there isn't really much running right now, you can kind of see, just like as expected there for the service, like there's Kubernetes. And then if you stretch this out a little bit, you can see what like the different labels are, ports, age, etc. And you can also see the little green there so that you know that it's like up and running. There's things like config maps, secrets, service accounts. So this is kind of just like a high level overview. You can dive into some of these things. So if we wanted to go look at the Kubernetes service, you can look here, you can see things like the ports. So like if we did like, if I open a new tab, so if I do kubectl get service, if I put it in the namespace of cubes, or actually that's just default. So if we get services, you can see Kubernetes there. And then if we just did like, for instance, if we do the YAML, you can see a bunch of the different things that are listed here in the same. If you click on YAML here, you can see the exact same stuff. And the nice things here is that it's pretty easy to just go, if I wanted to edit something, I could, for instance, I could change the names, I could add new lines in here, and then you would just go and click update if you change it there. Sometimes it's a little easier than trying to use kubectl edit, depending on whether you have it set up with a text editor that you're familiar with or not. So then,
now, while you were doing that, I just ran up a Helm install WordPress for you. So if you wanted to show like a port forward or anything like that, or a log tail, you actually had something to do.
Sure. Let's go back over to my internet.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
It's in a namespace WordPress.
Yeah, I was just about to ask if it was in a different words because I remembered the WordPress namespace there. So we just, yeah, if we look back at the applications, we can, oh my gosh, my internet. Internet! I'm paying money for this. All right, so.
I blame Jake.
he's not even using the internet right now.
It's all that Animal Crossing traffic.
We haven't played Animal Crossing in like 2 weeks. We got burned out. All right. So here you can, so if we wanted to just like look first here, so if I do, I'm lazy, I alias K to kubectl. So if I just do like K get all, and if we give it in the namespace WordPress, so we can see that there's those pods, services, deployments, replica sets, and then the stateful set. So if we look here, you can see basically the exact same thing. So you have your deployments, you have those pods that are running within it, the replica sets, stateful sets, services, and then also more things like config maps, volumes, secrets, service. There's basically a bunch of stuff. Like you can see all the events. You can see that it was initially having an unhealthy warning. I'm guessing that it fixed itself, saying that it's no longer hopefully it's not giving more complaints.
It probably just took a minute for WordPress to actually serve the page, and it was the health check or liveness check.
So we can let's see if we go in here. So basically you can see what pods are running. You can see like what the conditions are of whether it was like if it hit like the replicas that it was supposed to. There's this part here that is actually having like all of the environment variables that get set up with the WordPress application. And then you can do things like actually just clicking like start port forward. So that will just port forward locally here. And then the volumes that are created as well, and events. And then if we also, and you can also like edit some of these things. And then if we look at, there's also like the metadata for it. So that's like, if you look in like a Git and you give it like YAML or something, it has all the metadata with like the labels and annotations. And that's just basically what you see here. And then you can actually, there's this cool little, there we go. There's this cool little view that is not scrolling well on my machine right now because I don't know what oh my gosh. All right, so basically, oh wow. Why? Okay. Well, this thing's a little finicky on my machine. All right, so basically it shows you what all the different resources that are created and how they are and what how they're connected to each other. And I'm gonna stop looking at this because for whatever reason it's having like a heart attack about my service.
Yeah, you're gonna make me seasick with all that scrolling around.
I didn't try to, but yeah. So if you also pop this out, you can see a lot more specific stuff. So, some other things like those are the workloads. You can see things like what load balancers are created. So like here, you can see the ones that are created for the database, and then also created for just running the application itself. So that way you can end up connecting to your WordPress application. There's things like config and storage. So this, you would see like the database again, and then whatever the tests are that, and you can see that that's like managed by Helm. And then there's custom resources, which I don't know that there are any in this cluster. In this
we have CRDs, but I don't think we have any resources actually set up.
At least not in WordPress. And currently we don't have anything. And then you can just like see events, which is what you were seeing earlier at the high level. And then if just going back and like seeing like this high level cluster overview. Was there anything that you wanted to specifically dive into right now on?
Can you look at your logs? For a given pod or deployment?
Let's see. Let's go and do workloads. Let's go to a pod. So let's click on this one. Yes, cool. All right, so I guess I never actually clicked on pods at any point in time. So here we can, it's a little funky looking on my machine with it trying to be zoomed. There we go.
Do you want to maybe full screen? Give it a little bit more.
Yeah, I suppose I can do that. There we
Will
go.
either help or make it much, much worse.
Yeah. So you can do cool things like actually showing the timestamp, which it can be super useful when you're trying to debug what's going on. You can set up filters and then show only the ones that you're filtering on. So I haven't actually tried this ever before. So let's see. Yeah, if I did that, cool. Yeah. So
Nice.
basically you can see that it makes it a lot easier to like look through your logs than just trying to run it on your own like machine. There is a terminal which is within the container
What?
itself.
Stop the madness. I haven't seen
So,
this one yet. This must be a fairly new feature.
Yeah, I haven't either. I mean, then again, I did only Octant's pretty new for me, so.
Right.
But yeah, no, this is pretty cool. So I guess you can just do like a PS and like I guess I don't remember exactly what it is to find WordPress in here, but yeah, there's all sorts of cool stuff. So let's see. This one, okay, now it's not having a crazy heart attack, but yeah, oh, yep, never mind.
Yep, there it goes.
Bye.
Abort. And then maybe show the port forward and we'll call it good then. And maybe we'll come back after we've done a few more things.
Hey, it looks like Deshaun's saying he's only seeing half of Paul and Tiffany's screen. Yeah, it's cut off.
Oh, there we go.
Paul.
At one job.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So
you could probably stand to make your font a little bit bigger too. But
yeah,
Java Grunt says better. So thank you, Deshaun.
I had done that, but then the logs, the way that it formatted, it went out of the screen barrier. So I had. Okay, wait. So which part of the screen was visible then?
I don't know. I'll wait for Deshaun to tell me.
Oh, it was just the tops of our heads were cut off.
Oh, so it was only us.
Everything you were showing was fine. It was just
cool. It's just we're
just
headless.
Maybe make it bigger.
Bigger still?
Yeah, he said you could see the screen share completely, but yeah,
I'm going to switch it to light mode so it's easier to see on this screen sharing. But yeah, that's a cool thing. You can switch between light and dark. All right, so port forward. So some of these things don't like, obviously, me increasing the sizing. So like now you can see that it has a link here. If I click on it, you can see that I got into my website. So WordPress, it worked. WordPress, womp. But yeah, so it just makes it super easy. So that's basically the same thing if you did kubectl port forward and then gave it the ports and everything that you wanted. But this just does it for you. The question is, I wonder if there's oh yeah, there we go. You can stop port forwarding, but the way that this is fitted in here doesn't like me. So now if we go back here, it should be dead. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I wonder. No.
Well, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, so it's basically a nice way to just like view things using like a graphical interface, and like there's just so many different things you can look at. There's configurations of like plugins that you can do as well. Right now we don't have any, at least in this namespace, but yeah, so lots of things you can play around with and kind of view your cluster in a different way. So
very cool.
Shall I pass the torch to you for now?
Sure.
All right.
And I need to share this guy. Okay. So from my side of things, I thought we would start off with, I wanted to show off Contour and Harbor. Contour is an ingress controller that I think was just accepted in a CNCF under incubating. So it's becoming a real grown-up boy in the CNCF world, which is good. And Contour came originally from the Heptio folks. And they have some interesting opinions about ingress and the default ingress resource not being completely adequate. And so that we originally had the ingress route resource, which gave a bit more details. But I think recently that's been deprecated for HTTP proxy as a resource. So we might get the chance to look at that. But I figured our best bet is, wait, we have this might be better to look at. Oh, look at this. It's all pretty. So yeah, it is built on top of Envoy or Envoy. It's Envoy, right?
Yes.
Right.
If you look at it,
Wait, are
Envoy.
you going back to your not being able to pronounce things? Tortilla?
I was. I was giving you a chance to give me some grief.
instead of
for,
envoy,
Well, I have a burrito in my mouth, so it's going to
a
take a few
burrito.
seconds. A burrito.
A burrito. I love myself a burrito. What kind of burrito is it? Did you make it yourself?
Well, the chili Colorado was bought, and the rice and beans were bought, and the tortilla was bought, and the cheese was bought, and the jalapenos were bought. But I put it all together.
You don't make your own cheese, Bob?
I stopped after that famous cheese implosion of 2012.
Right. All right. So yeah, Envoy is kind of the go-to web proxy for kind of the cloud native genre or grouping. So if you look at Istio, it's kind of the proxy that Istio uses as well. It is super fast. It is in like C or C++. Oh, and we have the maintainer of Contour in Twitch. All right, so you're going to need to keep us honest, and if we say anything
No
really
pressure.
stupid, feel free
That's
to
pretty
jump
awesome.
in.
Well, if we
That's
have,
incredible.
if we run into anything or whatnot, we have this person to tell us what to do. That's great.
That's right.
So
Now
good.
we're going to go ahead and install it. And being the prepared individuals we are, we haven't actually even looked up how to install it. But there is a getting started document, so that's probably a place to go. And then before you start, we have a cluster, we have kubectl, we have RBAC. So can we just do this? Make sure I'm in the default namespace. How's my screen look?
Looks good to me.
All right, so we'll do that kubectl apply. It's doing
like your
a
little
bunch of
cloud.
stuff. Thank you. So we now have a namespace. Yeah, we do. Project Contour -n get all. Let me make that. That's a little bit better. All right. Let me know if you can't read this. Otherwise, I'll stick to this size. So it looks like we have 2 Contour pods almost running. We have 3 Envoy pods. So I'm guessing Envoy is running as a daemon set. No? Oh, hang on. Let me just change to. So I don't have to remember to keep doing -n. Yeah, Envoy is running as a daemon set, which means it will run an Envoy on every worker node, which I guess for an ingress type dealio, that's probably a good idea. So it gets nice and close to wherever your pods are. I would guess that Contour is just running as a regular deployment, which we should see here. Yep. Oh, it already shows daemon set here. I could have just looked there. And then our services. So we have a service for Contour, which is just a cluster IP because no one outside the cluster needs to access that. But then we have the Envoy service, which is a type of load balancer, and it has this IP address. And so if I remember how ingress works, anytime I create a resource of type ingress, it will use this IP address. And that will give us a way to access our applications through this instead of creating a load balancer per item. So I'm going to guess that we are working, and I figure we can go ahead and set up. All right, Tiffany, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just run straight at Harbor, or do you want me to install something a little bit simpler and run ingress and just make sure that's all working?
Maybe I would maybe start simpler just so that people can see the like this is just contour and this is dealing with harbor.
All right, let's do that.
Nice.
So I
How do you pronounce
installed
that?
Ah!
Not
So
A.
before I did that Helm install, right? WordPress. And so if we go to hub.helm.sh and we search for WordPress, I guess it's this guy.
Yep.
Oh, I did it from stable before, but I should be doing it from here because I think it was deprecated in stable. Let that run. So that's what we run, but somewhere in here, ingress, it'll give us instructions on how to do ingress, right? So
Want to
let's
make
create
the font bigger on your web page?
Oh yeah, I'll do that in a second. So wp values.yaml. How's that? All right, so we want ingress enabled true. We want hostname blog.demo. I think that's my.
Looks familiar.
Is it? I think that might just Paul CZ. Oh no, I can't remember. Where would I be able to look that up?
Who's it registered
I'll
with?
go with Pulsar. It is registered with
Gandhi?
Gandhi, yeah.
Yes, it's Pulsar.
All right. Now I do have Cert Manager installed. So I will set that to true. Hostname, annotations, TLS. I think we can do that, but let's leave it disabled for now. We can always enable it later. So I'll do TLS true, but I will comment it out just so I can come back in a second. Extra hosts, secrets. I don't think we need any of that. And then we need to change our service type to cluster IP should be fine. Cluster IP. Because we don't need it to have its own load balancer, and because the ingress controller is running in the cluster, we should be fine with a cluster IP for our service. All right, so let's go ahead and let's look at our Helm install. We have a namespace of WP2, and we change that to be Bitnami, and then also create ns WP2 sleep2. So we'll create the namespace, give it a couple of seconds, then do the Helm install values WP values.yaml, right? What do you reckon our chances are of this working?
80.
Never tell me the odds.
Never tell me the odds. All right. Okay, so
I guess I should give it an odd number.
It's seen that we asked for an ingress, and so it's put our URL as the host I gave it. So now we should be able to change to WP2, get all.
Want to tell people what NS is?
Oh yeah, so NS is part of the kubectx kubeNS family by what's the author's name? Tiffany?
Amit.
Amit. And if you're often dealing with multiple Kubernetes clusters, it is a godsend, as it
Yeah,
lets you
basic.
quickly change between clusters and namespaces.
Yeah, there's like two different little command things. I pasted it in Twitch, but basically it's github.com/AhmetB, so AHMETB, and then /kubectx, and basically you can switch between contexts or just show what context you're in to easily switch between the clusters and then like namespaces as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's even smart enough. If I just do NS, it'll list my namespaces and let me pick one.
Ooh, fancy.
Cool. And then I think it comes with a bunch of aliases, which I can't remember if I installed. So let's do that. Nope, I don't think I've installed it. Oh, well. So let's go back to our get all. So there's all of our stuff. You can see our service is a cluster IP instead of a load balancer. My deployment's not up yet, but that's fine. I'm just waiting on MariaDB to start up because that takes a minute. But what we can do is, now ingress doesn't show up on a get all. So we have to look at that separately. And there we see that right there. Now look at that. So because before we started, I did install external DNS controller and cert manager. And so what happened was the external DNS controller saw that I was creating an ingress with this host name and this address. And so it just went and registered that in Google for me. And I can actually probably show you, I have that in cluster system, k get pods. So you can see I have external DNS and cert manager here. So k logs external DNS. Please don't print any passwords. Sweet. So you can see it saw from the zone, it figured out the zone, and it went ahead and added the records. So that's pretty sweet. And in theory, if I had have put TLS on, it would have also done the same with cert manager. So we can go back to our WP values, turn TLS on. Now there may be some annotations we need to set to make it work exactly right. But we'll see what happens. So now we can do a Helm install. That's pretty gross. Helm upgrade WordPress dash values, WP values. Uh-oh. Oh, the chart name. Yeah, that helps. And so that was bitnami/WordPress. WordPress. All right, and then you can see it saw I enabled TLS. So it actually changed the URL here in the notes to be HTTPS. And then if we do a get ingress, you'll see port 443 is now enabled there. And so if I do a HTTP of this, that looks like WordPress. And if I do HTTPS of that, all right, we have an error. So it might still be setting it up. Do a curl connection refused. So maybe it's still doing the wiring of that. Okay, get certificate. We do have a certificate. So that means Cert Manager is attempting to do its job, but it hasn't actually completed the certificate yet. So k-n cluster system logs cert manager Waiting for DNS record to propagate. All right, so it looks like it's doing it. It's just taking its time because it creates a some text records in your DNS and then validates that those are working. And that's how it ensures that the person requesting the certificate owns the host name or the website. So it'll either check DNS or it will check the website itself. But I usually use DNS because I already have external DNS running as well. Anyways, that'll either start working or it will fail. Oh, it's working. So if I hit that, open link. All right, so here it is. It is HTTPS. It's on a custom domain. Our padlock is lit up, and I haven't had to do any work to do any of that. So between Contour, Cert Manager, and external DNS, it kind of all just works together and makes my life much, much easier. Fun little anecdote. I once worked at a company and we discovered that we had a expired certificate because it was on the 6 o'clock news. And that's not really a cool way to get alerted that you've got a major outage. So using tools like this helps avoid that from happening, because if this certificate expired, Cert Manager would renew it and Contour would see that renewal and would switch it across. So things like expired certificates become a thing of the past, and you would just let kind of Kubernetes and all the CRDs and operators and controllers deal with it for you. Now, is there anything else Contour-wise we should be looking at? I feel like, oh, here's our HTTP proxy. So let's have a look at kget ingress, WordPress-o YAML. So this thing's pretty straightforward, right? Kind ingress. This here is what tells Cert Manager that Cert Manager should care about it. And then just the fact that we have a host name there that matches my domain that's delegated to Google Cloud, which is this section of it here, that tells Cert Manager to do its bit. And then we have these rules. So basically our rule is anything going to path / at blog.demo, send to the WordPress service on this port. So relatively straightforward. You can do the rules by the host name. You can also do rules by the path. And that covers a lot of basic use cases. Let's have a look at this guy. Yeah, okay. So this is probably one of the main things, right? Because with an ingress controller, anyone can create an ingress with the same host name as mine and add like a /auth to it and redirect all auth requests to their services instead of mine. So that's maybe not such a big deal if everyone on the same, it's only people on the same team that have access to that cluster. But if you have multiple teams, it becomes easier for someone to either maliciously or not create a route for your application and send it somewhere else. And that maliciously is important because if you don't have your RBAC set up just right and someone has a struts vulnerable like website running, it's possible that someone could get access to create resources in your cluster and get further access to things that are happening. So that kind of makes ingress a little bit scary. And I believe that HTTP proxy kind of helps with that. Multiple services, single routes. defining service waiting and load balancing strategy without annotations. So I guess a lot of the stuff that some ingress controllers supported but weren't part of the ingress spec, they solved with ingress, whereas this is actually solving them with part of the spec. Yeah, so that looks pretty interesting. Now, I bet, I don't know if we'll see any success with Cert Manager and external DNS, but let's go ahead and create a HTTP proxy and see what happens. So HTTP proxy.yaml, paste this in. WP HTTP, and we'll call this WP2, WP66 .demo.paul cz.notepolsar. Yeah. Slash services is it's just WordPress, right? On port HTTP. I think that'll be okay. Am I missing anything? Let's find out. It's okay. Apply -f HTTP proxy. Wow. Oh, it has to be a number. I wonder if I can do port name. A link to the spec.
It has to be an int for the port.
There's the reference. Come on. And there's no port name option. All right. Well, let's just look at what the.
We're getting that has to be the int for the port, int for the port.
All right. Okay. Get
VL beta 1.ingress allows for the port name, but not HTTP proxy.
All right. So we'll get service and okay, the service port is 80 anyway, so that's easy enough.
It's always nice to have somebody who can check your notes.
Right?
He's for reasons. For reasons.
For reasons.
They talk a lot, don't they? Yes, they do.
We try again.
Is there a Terraform provider for Tanzu?
That is a very good question. So there are Terraform providers for VMware. So if you were running VMware, you can definitely use Terraform to spin up that. I don't think we have any Tanzu specific. Oh, is it Tanzu or Tanzu? Tanzu, right?
Tanzu, yes. But if you're from Australia, it's Tanzu. It's Tanzu.
Tanzudilla?
There it is. Yep. When you put it between two tortillas.
That's right. So I don't think there are any Tanzu specific Terraform providers yet, but I would imagine we'll start to see them show up for things like Tanzu Mission Control as ways to interact with that. But as of right now, I don't know anything. I don't know if anyone else that's on happens to know or wants to do some quick internet Googling.
I don't find it. I'm just finding things like Terraform with VMware Cloud on something like AWS, for instance.
Yeah, you're right. It would be good to have it. I think right now, a lot of the person-facing tools like Tanzu Mission Control are still being created. But when you get like a Tanzu Kubernetes cluster, it does act like any other Kubernetes cluster. So the Terraform Kubernetes provider and the Terraform Helm provider will actually just work out of the box. And so any of those things you're used to running on Kubernetes should translate across just fine. Okay, so let's have a look at HTTP proxies. So we have an FQDN. Let's see if this works. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work because we haven't got the DNS for it. Well, first of all, get dash n project contour dash, what am I doing? Get service.
So it says
Okay, so
HTTP proxy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead.
You're reading it.
You read it.
Isn't fully supported in external DNS yet. There's no prepare to enable.
Cool. So I can cheat my way through this to WP6 demo. WP6 demo dot demo. So I'm just faking my way through here.
Paul, you'll be pleased to know that after enjoying my burrito, I'm washing it down with a nice Bundebig.
Oh, sweet.
It is sweet.
But between a burrito and a can of Bundaberg ginger, you're gonna have the burps.
Delicious. That's how you know.
All
the
right,
deal
there it
is.
is. So there is our WordPress. And so if we switch across and open this up. Right, so that's HTTP proxy working. I'm going to assume we don't quite have support for Cert Manager yet. Yeah, so I would guess that's probably in a similar state with a PR that's open for it or soon to be open. Yeah, so that is the HTTP proxy resource. So why don't we now flip across to, kill some of these, Harbor, and see how we can install Harbor. So Tiffany, have you used Harbor before?
Nope.
Nope. All right, cool.
Have you?
I have. I was just hoping I could like offload some explaining to you and be lazy, but I guess that's not going to work. Hey, Bob, do you want to explain what Harbor is?
Yes, it's generally where you would have a lot of boats with a body of water, and it's kind of where you can ferry goods on and off these boats and other trucks.
Right.
Next topic.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So Harbor is an open source registry. And aside from just being a registry, it has a bunch of security things. So obviously it'll integrate with your LDAP or OAuth authentication inside your enterprise. And it will scan for vulnerabilities. If you have signed images, it will deal with those. And it is importantly CNCF graduated. And that happened 6 months ago, sometime this year. I went from incubating to graduated. And I believe it's the only registry that is currently graduated in CNCF. And so for that reason alone, it's probably worth looking at if you're looking at putting in a registry for yourself. It is pretty easy to install. I have installed it before using Helm. Fun fact, I actually authored the original Helm chart for Harbor, but it's now quite different. And I don't think I've used Harbor with Helm since Harbor 2.0 came out. And so it will probably be a little bit different. So we'll see
By
how we
6
go.
months, you mean like it was almost about a month ago?
Oh, well, you know, time
baby.
in these days, yeah.
Time has no meaning, and also that was a fun fact. Thank you for letting us know it would be a fun fact, because then it was a fun fact. Nailed it! Yes.
Right. So I'm jumping straight to the deploy Harbor on Kubernetes.
I'll go back to mute now.
That would be great. Thank you so much. I'll let you know when your input's required.
Unmute.
So
Okay.
deploying shh. The adults are speaking, Bob. All right. For information about installing Harbor with Helm on Kubernetes cluster, this looks like what we want. Oh boy. Stop giving me pictures and stuff. Just give me commands. All right, here we go. Oop, too far. Let's just go back to the default namespace so we don't have any surprises. Helm repo add, Helm repo update, because I'm pretty sure we should be doing that, even though it doesn't tell us to. And then we're going to fetch it and configure it. So unlike doing the Helm install directly from there, what this is doing is telling us to fetch it, which will do this. And that's dumped it into a directory. So if you've never done a Helm chart before, a Helm chart is effectively a tarball of, assigned tarball of a bunch of templates, right? So here we have templates for the major components of Helm, and you can see there's a few of them. And then a chart.yaml file, which is the metadata about that chart. And then a values file, which is the default values to be rendered into those templates at install or upgrade time. Now it's going to tell us to edit this values file. So we'll pop over right here and we'll see what it wants. Ingress, configure the expose ingress hosts core and host notary. All right, so core demo polls.wtf. Yep. Default type of ingress has specific requirements. Leave as default for most ingress controllers. All right, so we're good here. Cluster IP. Let's go back to the docs. Can I just bump around? 4 empty databases should be created manually. Oh. Oh, but this is for deploying with high availability. I wonder if we can just, because we don't necessarily want high availability. And I think if we leave the database stuff blank, it'll create databases using Helm dependencies. So, oh yeah, I see that. Okay. Oh, external URL, we need that. External URL. Oh, core.harbor. So maybe we should make it just harbor.demo. Yeah. And then we'll go back up to here and just change that, right? I think that makes sense. I don't want to have to type core every time I do something. Default storage class. I think we get a default storage class in our cluster. So, oh, I think we can go ahead and do an install. I wonder if we have anything about Cert Manager. No. I wonder if it won't do Cert Manager by default unless we add that ingress. Kget ingress -a, kedit, dash nwp2, get ingress WordPress -o YAML. And there was an annotation we wanted, which was this fellow right here. So back down to annotations. TLS active. So that should give us TLS through cert manager. We have an ingress, so we'll get DNS, I think. Oh, let's create our namespace. Harbor. That's how you pronounce it, right, Bob? Harbor. And then helm install. Thank you. Give it a name. Give it a namespace. And then the chart is just dot, and then values.yaml. Fingers crossed. Okay, it thinks it's worked. So Harbor passes the details, sorry, Helm passes the details onto Kubernetes and doesn't necessarily wait around because of the declarative nature of Kubernetes. So we should see, jump into the namespace, k get all. How many L's in all, Paul?
None.
So we can
They're
see a
ones.
lot. I can see a lot of stuff going on. What have we got? We've got a database. We've got a Redis. We have a registry. Those are all pretty obvious. A portal is probably the actual web interface, maybe. Claire is the vulnerability scanner. Notary deals with signed images. What am I missing? Core, Claire, job service. I guess if there's like probably used to schedule jobs, like how often it does scans of the registry. I have no idea what Trivy is. Those are all mostly deployments, replica sets, and stateful sets.
It's Aqua's vulnerability scanner.
Ooh, fancy. Oh yeah, I think I remember seeing somewhere about it using the Aquasec, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I remember reading that they'd changed to use Aquasec. Oh, Sweet Killer 9 went to bed. Nighty nights. All right, let's run this again and see how things are looking. Whoa, all of our pods are up. Can't be that easy, can it? Things don't just work on their first go round. There's our ingress and our URLs. Surely this isn't going to work. I can't even deal with this right now. Yay, I found something didn't work. Huzzah! But that's probably because it's negotiating the certificate like we saw earlier. Oh, look at this. Hostname doesn't match notary.harbor. I wonder if there's going to be edit ingress. Let's have a look at this guy. Oh, interesting. So this is expecting to use the same secret name for both of these ingresses, and that won't work. because one has the URL notary dot and the other one has the URL harbor. So is there a value setting to fix that? Aha, notary secret name. Notary TLS secret. All right. So I can do Helm upgrade. So let's find out install. Upgrade, harbor, namespace. So that should fix our ingress for notary. In theory. All right. We'll go back to our ingress. Okay, edit ingress. Secret. Okay, so his secret is now notary TLS secret. And then ingress secret. And his secret is that. All right. Now we can do a unable to get the local issuer while doing a get. All right, well, we'll have a look back at that in a second. Let's go to here. All right, it wants a username and password. I don't remember setting one. So let's see what the docs have to say. The docs. Password. Let's have a look. Oop. Password. Initial password is harbor12345. Okay, folks, don't hack me. Or do. That'll be fun. Whoop. So, admin, login, don't save. Harbor12345. What?
Yeah, I tried it too, and it's not happy with me either.
Did someone beat us to it? Username. Interesting. Okay, you get secrets. I wonder if it's saved somewhere here in a secret. Okay, you get secret -o YAML. Harbor admin. So we want JQ data. So JSON plus a JQ data. And it was Harbor admin password. And we want to switch this to be raw. And we can pass that to base64 decode. Okay. Well, that is an interesting development.
I just tried that too.
Well, Java default admin password. Admin. Well, that's an interesting thing to have happen. Okay, get ingress. I wonder if it's freaking out because we've said we wanted TLS. Let's see if we get HTTPS now. Ooh. Unknown issuer. Oh, interesting. It's created certificates for me. Okay, let's just go ahead and accept that. Admin, is it Harbor? Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So it needs, if you set it up for TLS, it needs you to use TLS. Now, I don't know why it hasn't used. Okay, enabled. So I'm just looking to see if there's anything specific about using Cert Manager. I know this used to work on the earlier version. Okay, get secrets. I think there was an ingress. Okay. So if harbor.autogencert, okay, so that will be in the helpers. Autogencert. I have to set, all right, so here's our if statement here. So if TLS is enabled and we haven't set a secret name, it will auto-generate. So we did need to provide a separate secret name. So values, secret name, Harbor, TLS, secret, Paul is bad at computers. Now we'll find out that's too long. Helm upgrade. We'll see how this goes. Okay, so K get ingress, and then this guy -o YAML. All right, there's our new secret name. Okay, get certificate requests. Aha. So you can see it had already figured out the notary one, but it was using the self-generated here. So let's give it a minute. Cluster system, cert manager, FB. Yeah, so what we saw before, waiting for that DNS record to propagate through. So nearly done. Secrets. And there's our secret right there. Okay, get secret. YAML. Yeah, it only has a key right now. Okay. Why don't, Tiffany, you take over and show where we're looking at Octant while this sorts itself out. You're muted. You're muted.
How about now?
Ah, that's better.
Oh, you actually wanted to hear me? Okay.
Well, it was weird with your mouth moving, but nothing coming out. So if nothing else.
Okay. Yeah, so like I just opened up to the namespace that you were tinkering around in. So I guess like if we were just like looking over in like secrets, for instance, you can see that here is the one that you just created about you being bad at computers. And then you can see like the other stuff specific for it. If this one, it just shows the one resource, and then all of the lovely TLS stuff that you had set up with that. It seems like it's all happy, or yeah, it seems to be happy and running. And then like if we look over back at,
do you want to have a look under custom resources? Because we should see
yeah,
some stuff in there now. Yeah.
Oh, there's your bed at
Oh,
computers.
and it says it's ready, so we might be able to log in.
So if we go, were you going to the HTTP one or the HTTPS one?
With the S.
Okay. Oh gosh. And then I guess
Capital H, Arbor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Ta-da!
Yay.
Cool.
Cool.
So now you can see, let's see. And look at like registries. Currently there is nothing specifically set up.
Yeah, so why don't we
So,
go
like-
under projects and hit new project.
What do you want to call it?
Tiffany. Call it Tiffany.
Okay.
Hit public is okay.
Storage quota. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Unlimited. Why not?
I trust you. And then do you want to try and push a Alpine image up there or something?
Sure. Let's see.
Oh, that's cool. It gives you all that.
I like being lazy. Let's see. All right. So source image. Append. Shall we just do latest?
Yeah.
Oops. What did I do?
Oh,
Do I not have? Oh.
You don't have that. Amateur.
Whatever.
Whatever. Sweet. And then you'll need to Docker login, right? It's not
Yeah.
telling you to, but you will need to.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Wait.
I think you can just put the Harbor demo. Yeah.
And then what is the specific thing for?
Be admin and
It's just
Harbor 1, 2, 3, 4.
okay. There's a 5, right?
No. Yeah, there was a 5. And then no, you need to give
Oops.
it the
Oh yeah, I need
URL.
the right. I need. Is it your whole thing?
Yeah. Well, just the Harbor
Okay.
demo pulsar.wtf. Yeah, that's the bit.
Ta-da! Okay.
All right. Now you should
Whoops.
do the push.
Just being lazy. I like copy pasting. Oh no.
Right. Ooh.
Dun, 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 dun.
All right. So now I guess we can refresh.
Ta-da!
There she is. Look at that. Now I think
Not
under
scan.
actions, you can. You can just hit scan. There's a big button.
Oh. What?
Uh-oh.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Never mind.
Wait. Nope. Okay.
Okie dokie. What's copy do? Can you like copy and paste it?
This is Shaw.
No, yeah, but there was a second copy. below
Oh,
it.
wait, there was. Oh. Oh.
Whoa, that's cool. So if you do library,
Oh, yes, create it. Yeah. Wait, what?
there was a default one called
Yeah.
library.
Oh my gosh.
And
Go away.
then-
Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Fancy. Can we scan that one?
Yeah, I was wondering. Wait. Let's go to. Dun, dun. Nope.
Oh, vulnerabilities. Look at that.
Uh-oh.
Good job. I bet that there's some job running that's actually syncing all of the vulnerability databases. And that probably needs to complete before it actually works. Under administration, is there a section for, maybe go to configuration? No.
No.
Oh, a CV whitelist. That's interesting.
Mhm.
I was hoping there would be like a set of settings specifically for the. Ah, there we go.
They claim they're healthy.
Yeah. Why don't you, since you've got Octant open, do you want to look at the logs for Trivy and Claire? And see what they say?
Sure. Let's see. There's Claire. It looks happy. Yeah, it's just talking about how it started.
Okay. And then what was the other one? Trippy, treble, something like that. That's it,
Did I
Trippy.
do that? Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Connection refused. Because with starting API server without TLS.
That's just a warning.
Refused. Yeah. Well, this
All
isn't.
right. So why don't we set the scanner to Claire, because that seems to be working. Because I think it had Trivy as the default.
Can I? Do you know if I can do that in here?
Yeah, under interrogation servers.
Oh geez. Oh yeah.
Yeah, set as default. Perfect.
Nope.
Uh-oh.
I wonder if, let's see, so if we go back here, I wonder if that would be logs under core.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, is a 500 scan? Yeah, that's totally there.
Unknown.
That doesn't. Unknown scan artifact.
Unauthorized.
Interesting. I wonder if there's any logs from Claire now that we tried to scan one. No logs. All right. Just in case it was just a matter of taking some time, let's try scanning one more time. And if that doesn't work, we'll just
Yeah, I'm guessing it's
move
something
on.
up with however the TLS and everything is set up.
Yeah, I did see there was an option to turn TLS internally on, and we didn't mess with that.
Oh.
Maybe that's maybe that has something to do with it. So why don't we close the circle and see if we can run this Alpine image in our cluster?
Sure. Let's see. I'm just gonna do kubectl run.
Yeah.
I never remember. Oh my gosh. Sure, I have some example. All right.
Oh, perfect.
So for and then let's see. Oh gosh.
So I think you do want that -it because you want to actually get
Yeah.
because it's just Alpine, right? So
Let's see. So then this would be your whole this.
Yeah, /Tiffany/Alpine.
Oh my gosh.
Latest. And then --sh. Oh, you can't have the HTTPS in there.
Oh yeah. Well,
Come on. Well, look at that.
so if we go, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Now, if you go back to Octant, you can probably run an exec inside of that now.
Give me 1 second. Just all right. So okay, Octant.
Oh, Java Grunt says he learns from listening to me think out loud on the command line. Well, I'm glad you do, because I certainly don't seem to learn.
Was there anything that you wanted me to specifically do?
I don't know. I just thought it'd be cool to see a console inside of Octant for it. I don't even know what, like, can you ping something? Ping the Kubernetes service. So Kubernetes service.default, or is it .default.service? SVC.
Oh yeah.
I think it might be default.
I think it's default.
SVC.
Yeah.
I mean, it worked. It's just not pingable.
Yeah.
So you can probably curl it if there's curl installed.
I'm guessing no.
wget. There we go. So if you do wget -O --, that'll send it to standard out, and then whatever it was, Kubernetes .default. And it'll be HTTPS, and it's probably a different port.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh no, 443. It is a self-signed certificate, so we might need a -K.
Would the -K need to be up front?
Probably. But no, hang on.
Oops.
It can't be between the O and the dash. I don't even know if -K is even correct. I'm assuming it is. Lowercase k?
I don't see a K at all.
No, I don't see. I think it's because it's Alpine. It probably doesn't even have certificates installed. So just get rid of the -K, and we'll just see that it gets some sort of certificate error.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So it would work if we had certificates set up in that container. So I think that's a good spot to like take a pause and see where we're at time-wise. We're probably at about time. So unless you think you can like crush
I can do something really quick with Velero. Yeah, I can show at least something pretty quick with it.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. All my tabs have gone to sleep, of course. All right. So
hey Bob, how's your burrito?
Oh, I finished that a long time ago. I finished that like
good stuff.
6 minutes.
I was just seeing if you're awake. Normally we can tell because we can start hearing you snore at about this time, but you won't snore.
I mean, I'm definitely doing the long stretches right now. Oh, that's a good one right there.
All right, Bob, you reckon you give us 10 minutes?
I reckon.
Oh, you're
Oh,
such a
it's so
good man.
nice. Okay, so yeah, Velero basically it's for backing up things that are in your cluster. So for instance, if you, which I'll just end up showing, like if I either want to carry my entire stuff from my cluster over to a different cluster, or if I want to make sure that has backups that keep running. So if something like if I accidentally delete something that's supposed to be running, that it will bring it back up. So I installed Velero itself. So I just did the brew install already. So basically after that, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can either use the CLI or the Helm chart. I'm just going to go over to, so for this CLI command, it's just a Velero install. We're using GKE for this cluster. So if we go over to the supported storage clusters or supported storage providers, if we go over to GCP, whoops, all right, I guess I can go. So first thing you do is you would end up creating a bucket. So you could either do this here, or if you want, you could just like, so storage. You can also go in here and then start creating it that way. I'm just going to do it the command line way. Oh, wow, there's a lot of buckets here. So
Oh,
let's see if we,
I should clean up my account. I'm probably getting charged a fortune.
all the money. All right, where is there? Okay, there we go. Nope, not that one. Okay, so let's see. I'm just, what should I call the bucket?
I don't know.
Burrito. All right.
Yeah.
And then it'll create it. What?
Oh, because so this is using the Google object storage, right? So it has to be unique across the entire entirety of Google Cloud. So
that's
Bob's
unfortunate.
Burrito.
All right. Cool.
I'd be worried if that was not unique.
I don't know. There's a lot of Bobs. All right. So then just going through here. So I'm currently using like my Pivotal account with Paul's project. So if we just get the project ID, and then using IAM, creating a service account called Velero. Cool. All right, so then now if we take a look and we can just like see, well, there we go. There's the one that we created, the Velero one right here. So then for the email, you can get it from that. So that's this lovely thing right there. And then there's this huge thing here that basically you need to attach specific IAM like policies and then get further attach with the roles and give it permissions. So basically this is kind of just showing you like the things that you are giving it permissions to do. So if we go and copy this, you can see it kind of going through all of that. All right, so then, and then we need to have creating a service account key. So if we create that, and that uses that email that we just had, and you can see, all right, cool, we created that. I'm not going to deal with workload identity right now. So, all right, so now we have that. I already downloaded Velero. So then since we use the service account here, I would just go and copy this. Cool, all right, so Velero is now installed and using that bucket that we just created as the backup. So then if you go back here, you can like look at things such as like, say, if I want, there's like disaster recovery. So I could create it on a specific schedule. I'm going to just copy it from here. So you can do cluster migration. I'm not gonna do that right now, but like you can create a backup on a schedule and you can also just create a backup right now. So if I were to create a backup now, and then let's see, I don't know, burrito 21, sure, because it's the 21st, whatever. Okay, so I created that. So if we like take a look right now and see, like, let's see, what are the I guess we don't have anything running right now. In this.
Oh, we have in the
namespace.
WordPress.
Yeah. So let's see. All right. So if we look here, you can see all this stuff running. So if I were to delete, so if I delete WordPress deployment, will Helm start it up again?
No.
Cool. All right. So
Now, how do you know the backup's finished?
I guess that's a good question. Let's see. There is.
And there was a logs. Go back to your command line.
You can also do a describe on it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So
you
can see here. Yeah, it's fast. So basically, yeah, you can see it has all the annotations, the name, and it creates it in the Velero namespace. And then you can see like how many items that it needed, and then it shows that it did it for everything here.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I go and do WordPress, and if I delete the deployment of WordPress.
Oh no.
No. Okay. So wait, there's no deployments at all? I thought there was.
No, there's a stateful set.
Okay. I thought that there was also the database in WordPress, but that's
there is. The database is a stateful set.
Oh, okay, got it. All right, so just making sure, still not there. Okay, so basically you can just do a restore from backup, and whoops. And then if I do burrito 21, it takes a little bit of time, but let's see. I'm not exactly sure how much time.
Can you watch the logs?
Yeah.
There's a command right above Velero restore logs burrito 21.
I wonder if there's a like tail or something for this. I'll just run that first.
All right. So it'll only give you the logs once it's finished. Well, that's fun. I guess you could do the describe and see a status.
What was it? It was.
I think it was restore.
Restore describe.
Yeah. In progress. So I guess it probably takes longer to do the restore because it's got to do a bunch of diffs and stuff to figure out what has or hasn't been. You can do it.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how long this takes because when I tried it for the first time earlier today, I ignored it and then came back and was like, oh, hey, it's back.
Right. Well, do we want to wrap up? And then before we finish, we'll just have a quick look back and see if it's done.
Sounds good. I'll just check one more time. Oh, geez.
Uh-oh. Oh. That means it's working.
I think it should be done.
The in-cluster version.
It's back.
Oh yeah, cool.
Let's.
Oh, because all the errors are because they already existed.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Huzzah!
So, yeah. It's okay. I didn't break WordPress.
Nice.
The system.
Now let's go to the URL for it and make sure it still works. Is it like WordPress?
Yeah.
No, blog.demo.
Oh, geez.
Blog.
Blog. I heard Bob.
I did too. But, you know, I just kind of hear my name all the time.
Well, it works again.
Cool.
So yeah, basically, yeah, if you just set up backups, then if something happens to the state of your cluster, you can either move it to another cluster or it will back up, or you can restore from existing state, just kind of like some of the other things out there.
Very cool. And I would imagine there are probably filters and commands you can run to just do specific namespaces or deployments or whatever. Would make sense anyway. Cool. Do you want to wrap us up, Bob?
Of course I do, as soon as I can unmute myself. Yay! Hey, how do you feel?
Where's your face?
It's here. I have a face.
Do you want to unshare, Tiffany?
Yeah.
I have a face. It belongs to my body.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel? How do you feel after getting all that stuff off your chest?
I feel good. I thought it went pretty well. Like everything just worked, apart from that vulnerability scan, which I think is probably us not reading the documentation before we just, you know, fro-yoed it into production.
YOLO fro-yo. Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? I think would also, like, just to piggyback on what Deshaun was saying, is that it's also just nice to hear somebody else's processes of like, oh, this isn't working. How do I go find out why it's not working? And so,
yeah, I mean, it's lucky I just talk to myself when I'm using the computer anyway.
Right. Yes, it's very lucky.
So I don't even have to think about it when I'm on the stream. I just
didn't even know that your mic was still
usual. On. Yeah.
Kelly just
walks
by.
It's nice because people talk back.
Right.
Normally people don't talk back. This time.
No, Kelly just shakes her head. She just goes like this.
Yeah.
And then looks at the cat and says, your guess is as good as mine. And then she's talking to the cat, and then everybody's talking to each other and themselves at the same time. It's great.
Does the cat talk to you?
No, the cat, I'm like, I don't know, the cats don't like me. I'm the one that feeds them. I'm the one that gives them treats.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, they still don't like me.
You don't give them this.
Oh, no.
You gotta give them the love. No.
I think because they were both strays and it was Kelly that sort of befriended them first, I think they still kind of have that like stray cat just wary of things in general.
Because they got that stray cat stuff and they got that stray cat style. No? Also, you're
never heard that.
You're never home. You're just home now. You were on the road like 150 days last year.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
so like normally they see your wife and you're not even home. So
here's a fun.
They're just waiting for you to leave.
Thing.
They're like, when's this guy leaving? When's this guy out of here?
Yeah. I wasn't just on the road for that long. I was literally in a plane for 30 days last year.
That's incredible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
that was the statistic that like blew exactly.
Yeah.
That was the one that really blew me.
Yeah.
Like I can deal with traveling for 150 days or whatever it was. But when I saw that particular stat, I knew I had
spent a month on a plane.
Poor life choices.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Well, somebody had to do it. So
now I'm just wondering how many days Josh spent on a plane.
He's about a month and a half.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you go, only 15 more days, but I mean, if you calculate that into hours just a plane again, that's so much more. It's so much more.
Yeah. I mean, luckily I do travel in the Czarkowski family jet, so it's not so bad.
Oh, right. There you go. Yeah. With your own personal chef and flight attendant. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. There needs to be like, instead of an Air Force One name for Czarkowski Force One, but I haven't thought of it. I got to think about it. Anyway, well, thank everyone. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Paul and Tiffany, for sharing. I always have a good time. I'm looking forward to next week. Next week, we've got Ryan Baxter who's going to be talking about some Kubernetes and Spring stuff. He's been doing some really exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, let me.
So we'll basically be tying our two primary audiences together.
Yeah, Spring on Kubernetes. I mean, that was kind of one of the reasons why I was like, we got to go to Ryan, because he's definitely working in the both fields. So exploring new languages, frameworks, and technologies, and then sharing what Ryan has learned. So
Nice.
he's exciting, yes. And of course, it's going to start at Josh Long's second favorite place on the internet. Do you have it, Paul? Do you have the hot button?
Start.
Do you have it?
.spring.io.
There it is.
There
And again,
it is.
tomorrow, Josh will be talking about reactive Spring. Tomorrow, spring1.io, spring1tour.io. Register, and you can, or you can just come back to this channel and you can watch. You just can't participate with the Q&A, but you can definitely garner your information on our Twitch channel. So with that, my friends, see you next week. Ryan Baxter, take care of yourselves. Wear your mask. We miss you. We can't wait to be out there in the real world with you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, nice.